It's 6:59 Mountain Time, and I'm waiting for that damn green light. There's the green light, and I'm going to start right off by asking, what are you people? A bunch of frickin' pushovers? Are you gullible? Are you a bunch of damned whiners? What the hell is going on with you people in America? I swear to God, you're not alone, but let me get into it. The American propaganda machine is without a doubt the greatest, as far as efficiency, power, and reach, a propaganda machine in the history of the world. Caesar should have had this kind of propaganda. Hitler should have had this kind of propaganda. We have got it. It is Hollywood and everything connected. From TV to radio, print, and beyond. We got the best liars in the world assembled right here on America's shores. And what sucks is they're Americans. Okay, I can remember way back when I was in grade school, back when the Earth's crust was still cooling. Yep, long time ago. By the way of our teachers and media, they had us all convinced that if the Russians didn't bomb our ass into dust, the second ice age was going to finish us off. Yes, we played duck and cover. We had nuclear attack drills in primary school. The little siren went, whoa. Everybody got up under the desks, because that was supposedly going to protect you from an atomic bomb. Yeah, I know. There were wooden desks. Looking back, it's stupid, but back then, I don't know. We did it. And how about this? They were preaching that a second ice age was on the way. The North Pole was slipping down to us, and before we were old enough to have kids, we'd be freezing our off, and we'd never have kids. Well, we had our boogeymen back then. Later, of course, it was the ozone crisis. Remember that? There's a hole in the ozone layer, and it's thinning, and as soon as it opens, the world will burst into flames and will be a giant cinder orbiting 93 million miles away from the sun. God, the ozone crisis. Voodoo science at its best? Or is it voodoo science at its best worst? Well, now, of course, we're chasing the demons of global warming, and to make sure we catch everything, climate change. Yes, when spring goes into summer, climate change. Oh my God, we're going to burn up. When summer goes into autumn, we're already freezing our ass off. And when autumn goes into winter, see, this is all because of global warming. Voodoo science unleashed. And isn't it amazing how far we've come when it comes to being lied to and actually believing it? Isn't it amazing? Come on. We're not just talking about meteorological terrorism. You know, the ozone layer and all these other things. But we're also talking about war. Because war is a tried and true foil for propaganda. What better thing to do? From Vietnam to Bosnia to Panama to Iraq and Afghanistan. The American propaganda machine, they've laid it on thick, baby. Just lather it on there. Americans are dumbasses. They'll believe it. Put it on there at the cost of the lives of hundreds of thousands of our finest young men and women, killed, crippled, or psychologically, emotionally smashed. Yeah, I hope you're proud of yourself out there, mass media murdering bastards. Now, don't forget the money. Oh, yes, the money. It was Ike Eisenhower who warned us about the military-industrial complex. As he left office, he said, beware the military-industrial complex. Let me tell you what it is. That's all the companies that make food rations, jock straps, uniforms, tennis shoes, boots, bullets, submarines, anything that has anything to support people in a war is the military-industrial complex, and they're even fatter cats than big pharmaceutical. You got to go a ways to do that. You understand, while the military-industrial complex grows fat, the American propaganda machine is draining the national treasury, and they put us on the brink of bankruptcy. They don't care. They'll just keep sucking that money till there's nothing left. Then they're going after you and me. That's right. We've read the newspapers, magazines, we've watched TV, we've listened to radio. All lies. Liar, liar, pants on fire. You people suck. And along with the internet, the internet, once called the World Wide Web, now the internet, from social media to internet broadcasting, podcasting, or like what I'm doing, vlogging and blogging. The American propaganda machine, they've got us trussed up like a Christmas ham. We swallowed all the lies about 9/11, the lies about Libya, Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and more. And all of these horrible events launched by a criminal government that knew they were lying to us. They're saying, can we sucker the Americans into believing this shit or what, huh? Let's go to war. Let's blame Saddam Hussein. We don't have any evidence, but if we say we think he did it, Americans will wrap themselves in the flag and go get him. Hurf, 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 the dogs of war. Yeah, that's right. It's all about expanding the power base of the deep state. Now, we moved from early climate crisis terrorism to war-fueled terrorism. And then along came bioterrorism. Ah, yeah. Bio. That's like the body. That's like, oh, that sucks. That was, well, how about COVID-19? Yep. That man-killing, civilization-swallowing, sure-as-death horror was coming from our arch-enemies, compliments of the Chinese. This virus was so powerful that one little particle of it would wipe out a city. Americans by the hundreds of millions wore face diapers and masks, and they shied away from going in public areas. They stayed in their home. They stayed in their car wearing a mask in the home and the car. When they did go outside, they distanced themselves from others by like 2 to 3 yards. Did it do any good? Well, not really, but hey, it's hysteria. And nobody whips up hysteria better than the American propaganda machine. People tolerated the businesses being shut down. Factories, industries, shops, churches. We were denied our religious right. You know what's funny? I remember during this in Idaho, you couldn't go to the doctor except for a total emergency. You couldn't go to the dentist. You couldn't get a haircut. But you know what you could do? You could take your dog over to the local dog beauty salon and get him a haircut. What the hell sense does that make? Come on. All they did, the propaganda machine, was cook up a bunch of figures, bogus as hell, and we're ready for the final touch. Pharmaceutical firms, Pfizer, AstraZeneca, Bayer, the list goes on, Johnson & Johnson. They suddenly, out of nowhere, came up with miracle vaccines. mRNA to the rescue. Oh, here come the miracle rescue. Oh, based on an experimental science. A science they still don't fully understand. By definition, these were not vaccines. These were genetic therapies attempting to remodel the human RNA, DNA helix and chains for reasons never really explained. They probably didn't know. With no long-term testing, no viable testing at all, no competent approval process, these chemical concoctions made their way into the bloodstreams of over 200 million Americans, not just once, not twice, not 3 times, but now 6 times. I got a sucker lives near me who's running down for his booster shot because COVID's going to destroy me. Shut the hell up. People were so scared, they didn't even question. Okay? There's a little flyer that by law goes in with that chemical. They didn't bother to read it. If they had, they might have had second thoughts. Because there's a long list of possible and probable side effects. But let's go on here because the warnings were dire, but almost totally unheeded as a gullible public lined up to take the shot that would endanger their lives later and make big pharma fat and richer than God. Yeah, I know. It sucks. Here's a disclaimer. I'm going to read you a sample. translated into English. Here we go. It says, this injection will not prevent, restrict, or limit your susceptibility to contracting the COVID-19 virus. That means this shot isn't going to make it any harder for you to get COVID-19. Then it claims that this injection also will not prevent, restrict, or hinder your ability to spread the disease to somebody else. In other words, it does nothing to prevent you or even slow down you contracting the disease or spreading it. In fact, all it might do at best is partially suppress symptoms when you get COVID-19 again. Now, if you have a normal human herd immunity, you won't get it again. That's something they really didn't want to hear, were the words herd immunity. Let me get a glass of water. I love this job. I'm back. I know, a lot of hacking and coughing. Appreciate patience. I could go on and on about these things, but what matters is that the American propaganda machine has your number. They know the buttons to push to send you all into a blind panic. They know what dial to turn to make you accept any lie about why we have to go to war. They know what lines and strings to tug on to make you comply with even the most insane and stupid, ridiculous commands, like going to your nearest pharmacy and getting a shot of something that they're not even sure what it is. Okay? Now, they've got you by the nose. They got you by the short and curlies. From World War I to World War II to Korea to Vietnam to Panama to Bosnia to Iraq to Afghanistan, you've been suckered into supporting or at least allowing wars that were never necessary. We had no real business in any of them. It was propaganda that got you to say, let's go save England, or whatever. Even the food shortages, the gasoline shortages, the coffee shortages that Americans endured during World War II, World War I, were bogus. We know this now. They were faked. In order to keep you in support of the war, they had to keep you on the edge, wanting what you couldn't have. Tons, thousands of tons of crops were dumped into the ocean on the way to Europe. Fact. Now, I love Donald Trump, but we have a horribly misinformed president. Donald Trump, horribly misinformed. He seems to be setting us up for a war in Venezuela. He's getting ready. The guy's got naval ships out there in the water, choppers in the air, F-35s in the area, Buffalo flying overhead. Yes, our CIA and military, they seem hell-bent on yet another of the CIA's infamous regime changes. Well, let's see. When we took over and put new leaders in charge of Egypt, where did that get us? Yeah, when we did that to Iraq, where did that get us? When we did that to Libya, you see what I'm saying? Hugo Chavez. We throw somebody else, somebody worse comes in, somebody like Volodymyr Zelensky of Ukraine, a CIA plant. He admits it. He's in there. The man is Hitler to his people. Our White House, getting ready for what looks like a war with Venezuela, is even hinting at military action in Afghanistan. Again, Afghanistan. No shit. Do we really need the Bagram Air Base? If it's a case of not wanting the enemy to have it, just bomb the son of a bitch into dust. If you want it, I don't know why. Well, I guess you idiots are so damned gullible that you're going to accept anything. And there are damn few of us out here, like me, who can see through the smoke, who can look at the face of the lies, and we know better. God, I wish you did.